There are three outcomes the case could go. What do you think they are? If Ripple wins, do you think XRP will make a comeback? And what does John Deaton have to say about the recent court ruling? But first, we are giving away 25 XRP coins at the end of the month to one random subscriber to start on their XRP journey. All you need to do is to like the video, subscribe and comment your thoughts on XRP in the comment section. The Security and Exchange Commission case against Ripple is still in the process of being resolved. And Ripple Labs has recently made a number of demands of the court presiding over the case, which are: dismiss the lawsuit, issue judgment in favor of Ripple, or order the Security and Exchange Commission to pay Ripple its legal expenses. The commission, presumably recognizing that the judge is not sympathetic to its position, has demanded that the matter be tried before a jury. Well, if the Ripple Labs lawsuit goes to trial, it should be completed by the end of November this year, if not sooner. If that happens, it would bring an end to the long-running legal soap drama, which had far-reaching ramifications for the crypto space. Well, there are three possible outcomes for the XRP case. First and foremost, there could be a settlement. A settlement in the lawsuit is one possibility for the lawsuit. While the Security and Exchange Commission and Ripple are preparing for a trial, many cases of this kind wind up being settled out of court. In this particular instance, it is uncertain how probable such a result is to be. Ripple has indicated that it wishes to have the Security and Exchange Commission action dismissed and that the Security and Exchange Commission be required to pay its legal expenses. But that does not seem to happen, as the regulators seem to have too much pride in them. Although a settlement is unlikely, it is possible, especially if the Security and Exchange Commission is the side that chooses to make concessions. Only if Ripple Labs agree on a minimal sum that Ripple will be required to pay, and the matter will be closed without a trial being held. Now, the second possibility is that Ripple is victorious in the trial. Although the word victory used for XRP would be unclear because they have lost so much. And Ripple will win in the financial sense if the judge or jury determines that the company is not obligated to pay any damages. Furthermore, it prevents XRP from being classified as a security, which is another win. Even if Ripple is successful in having the Securities and Exchange Commission pay its legal fees, it is not required that its case be resolved in its favor overall. There is also the issue of case law to consider. So, whenever judges make judgments in court, their rulings constitute a form of law that applies to similar lawsuits in the future. If Ripple is victorious, the whole crypto industry will be spared from a regulatory crackdown. That would be a significant victory for the whole cryptocurrency industry. Or, there is a scenario where the Security and Exchange Commission wins at trial. The Security and Exchange Commission victory in the XRP litigation is a likely ultimate conclusion. As per this scenario, the court rules in favor of the Security and Exchange Commission, and Ripple is required to pay up $1.3 billion in addition to interest. Ripple Labs would be placed under tremendous financial stress as a result of this. It would also result in XRP being regulated as a security in the future, which would result in an increase in administrative burden. Well, this is by far the worst possible scenario for holders of XRP. If the Security and Exchange Commission prevails, Ripple Labs will be required to spend some time accumulating the funds necessary to pay the sum granted. Its work with RippleNet and its blockchain will almost certainly suffer as a result of this. In this situation, it is not difficult to see the value of XRP dropping in value. So, and Security and Exchange Commission victory is the worst-case scenario that you should be on the lookout for. What do you think? Who will win the lawsuit? So, if Ripple wins, what do you think? Will Ripple make a comeback in 2022? Well, it is important to note that Ripple is a decentralized payment network, which means that there is no central authority regulating the network, like a bank or government. As a result, XRP is a compelling alternative for businesses seeking to avoid high transaction costs and lengthy wait periods when sending money overseas. As of now, Ripple fortunes are intricately tied with the XRP legal battle. If a settlement is reached in Ripple favor, it will have a significant influence on the crypto market. And this has never been seen before. At this point, winning a case against a government regulator is unheard of. So far, the hearings in the lawsuit seem to be progressing well. As a result, you can make an educated guess about the likelihood of a positive settlement. However, when you purchase any cryptocurrency, let alone Ripple, you are assuming a certain degree of risk on your behalf. Well, investing in cryptocurrencies is a high-risk proposition, with many cryptocurrency specialists cautioning investors that the industry should not be considered a long-term investment. However, because of the potential for exponential growth, many individuals have invested in cryptocurrencies despite this. Well, the market is in a very dismal state right now. It is critical to keep a close eye on your financial assets. And the latest judgment by Sarah Net Byrne, in which she denied the Security and Exchange Commission request to review her decision, might have far-reaching benefits for Ripple. So the verdict has refused the regulator's move for reconsideration, thereby confirming the order to provide 68 documents connected to Hinman's 2018 speech. It was discussed by John Deaton, the attorney representing 65,000 XRP holders in the Ripple litigation, who shared his thoughts on the decision. While this order had been labeled the biggest judgment in the XRP case, the court decision may turn out to be bigger than anticipated. This is because of the bulletproof portion that Judge Net Byrne put in the court ruling, which is intended to preclude the Security and Exchange Commission from continuing its delaying tactics in the future. And this might put a stop to the Security and Exchange Commission stalling tactics, which Ripple executives have openly decried and even referred to as gamesmanship in court, pleading with the judge to impose penalties on the Security and Exchange Commission for their actions. Aside from reducing the likelihood of additional delays, the order may also result in a settlement between the two parties occurring sooner rather than later. This is due to widespread suspicion that the Security and Exchange Commission will refuse to turn up its own information, even if it means losing the whole case. Well, John Deaton explained on Twitter that Judge Net Byrne added a bulletproof section for any appeal to the Second Circuit. She could have flat out denied the motion for reconsideration pursuant to Rule 6.3, which says that you cannot raise new arguments if you did not raise it the first time. Instead, she recognized how important the deliberative process privilege doctrine is. She did not just summarily deny the motion but analyzed the Security and Exchange Commission's substantive deliberative process privilege argument and then rejected it. What she did was take away any argument on appeal based on how important deliberative process privilege is and that this judge did not consider it, like she should. She called out the Security and Exchange Commission for its inconsistent positions related to the speech. She said you do not get to change your position just because you did not like the court conclusion. She highlighted the inconsistency by drawing specific attention to Hinman under oath testimony. She threw a bone to the Security and Exchange Commission by clarifying that they could seek to redact those communications from its production that implicates other, separate agency deliberations, not deliberations about the content of the speech. Well, if this analysis is correct and the Security and Exchange Commission is unable to gain an appeal for the deliberative process privilege verdict, the Ripple lawsuit might conclude sooner than anticipated, resulting in the relisting of XRP on the exchanges and trading platforms in the United States. Well, this could mean XRP will surely cross the dollar mark in a matter of days. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Kindly note that the prices of cryptocurrencies frequently change, so by the time you watch this video, it might have changed to a whole new value. The information provided in this video does not constitute investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and you should not treat any of the content as such. The content in this video is for educational purposes only and hence should not be considered financial advice. Do conduct your due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.